Javier Boy is asking, did you guys catch these clips of Coach Feld starting the workouts? The dude is just different. Did you get a chance to see?
I did. He's a bottle of energy, man. He is, just all gas, no brakes, dude. And you love it. Just pure adrenaline. And you want that from your SNC. You know what I mean? It's a different iteration of it than Feely. Feely was good, but different, like he was more lively, built personally and everything. Feld is a big dude. He's probably like 6'2", 240 and like beefy, he's muscular. And yeah, it just hyper, and you love to see that because you want to have that. And coming from the world of the SEC, he's worked at Georgia, he worked at Alabama. Now he was, the head over there, SNC in Oregon, and you see some big dudes on that team. This is what we're talking about, and this is the kind of physical development that I think is going to be beneficial for those guys in the locker room. So yeah, I did see that. I got my blood pumping. Personally, it's been because of the work of the secret day job. It's been a couple weeks since I've been to the gym. I know that I'm a little chunkier than I used to be. Leave me alone. I still do work out sometimes, but I like seeing that. I need to get back in there more and just have that mentality in my head of Coach Feld. Like, hey, we got to turn that up. But yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Little hate coming for Mario. It's going to be a bust at Miami, according to R.W. Tyndall.
Okay.
That remains to be seen. We have no idea.
That's fine. Decent recruiter. I think that's underselling it greatly. Poor coach. I think that's underselling it greatly as well. Is he a perfect coach? No. Have there been things where like he needs to develop? Absolutely. But truth be told, Mario Cristobal himself is one of the best singular recruiters in the country. And yeah, if you're a poor coach, you don't go to 3 consecutive Pac-12 championship games and win 2 of them. Now, I know that, and sometimes the cycle of the build of the team is not going to be perfect. I think if you go back and you look at the records, that's what happened to them against Utah this year. It was just, and they'd gotten in Utah's ass a couple of times last few years. So that was all this year, both games was some get back for them, finally getting over that hurdle and everything. And it was just what Utah did well, just trumped everything and exposed everything that Oregon, the build of this team this year, did poorly. Every team is not going to be at 100 rating and 100% optimization and performance every single year. And okay, Utah got them. Not going to lie. And yeah, they really got some get back in those games. But to call him a poor coach, I just don't think that to be accurate.
Yeah, if you're going to assign numbers to the statement that was just made, you're going to give Mario Cristobal, it appears, if I'm interpreting that statement correctly, he's giving him about a 5 as a recruiter and about a 2 or a 3 as a coach, where in reality, based on his track record, if you know football and can fairly and objectively assess his record, it's more like an 8.5 or a 9 as a recruiter, and at least a 5, if not a 6 or a 6.5. You could even argue a 7 as a coach.
Right. And again, if you think of all these coaches as being, good and everything, right? Other than Kyle Whittingham, who's a damn good coach himself, right?
Yeah.
Who else is out there winning Pac-12 championships? Not USC. That job is getting people fired for the inability to do that because you're getting beaten by Oregon and everything. You know what I mean? Like so it's just like, oh, well, he's, poor and teams still win games, bro. Teams still look pretty good. Numbers got rung up, all these kind of things. So, but hey, if you think that, I will empower you to have that thought. I just disagree.
If you look at what Mario Cristobal has accomplished since 2018, which I believe was his first full season there, then they won the conference championship at the Rose Bowl the next year. If you take out all the obvious, fill in the blanks, who the 4 or 5 programs are, there's only, he's in the top 10. If you're looking at what has a coach accomplished in the last 3 to 4 seasons, start with national championships, conference championships, winning 10 and 11 games, finishing in the top. Yeah, there is room to knock what he's done. the
Mm-hmm.
3 Utah games and so forth. But he's in that top 10. There's
Mark said it,
not
I
many
mean,
other people.
again, go look up the records. And in real life, you're not going to run off 493-0 like you are on your NCAA dynasty, regardless of the difficulty you play on. You know what I mean? This is not going to be that. But I think that he is a damn fine recruiter. It's already been proven true by Cyrus Moss and Nigel Kelly, if nothing else, in this here recruiting class. And I mean, if a poor coach is 3 consecutive conference championship games and 2 championships, sign me up for poor, because we haven't been anywhere near that in Miami. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, Cam, because I get into these kind of conversations with fans every day. And it's like when people argue schedules. I get thrown schedules all the time that they don't play anyone. They don't play, like nobody plays anyone. Every team that gets brought up, oh, their schedule's trash and their schedule's trash. And if you try to point out to them that they played this collection of good teams, they all get labeled as trash as well, when basically you're chasing your tail and there's only about 3 teams that these people consider to be good teams in the country. And you're like, well, you're being unrealistic, because the only teams that you consider to be any good are like Georgia and Alabama and maybe somebody else. So these other teams are good. Kentucky's good. Teams like that they're good teams. Arkansas is a good team. If you're excluding them from being qualified as good teams, like top 15 to 20 teams, then you're really talking about nobody, because nobody's beating those other teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same here with the evaluation. Like, people will say, well, these coaches are trash, that coach is a trash, this one's trash. Well, what's your bar? Well, then the bar becomes, when you really get down to it, people expect a national championship. Well, there's only 4 or 5 of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Before we let you go, Cam, I don't know that you covered the recruiting weekend that just passed, nor the one to come.
So it's this weekend and next weekend.
Okay.
The ones. So Elite Prospect Day is Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. There is the Battle, I believe it is, 7-on-7 tournament in Miami, which is one of the more loaded ones in the country. There's like one in Orlando that's usually pretty popping. There's IMG Nationals. There's usually like one in Vegas. And those are like the real super major 7-on-7 tournaments. Battle Miami being either in that class or like right in the next tier down, right? So if you're talking about they would maybe be the Cincinnati of the playoff as opposed to the other 3. Like they're up there, in that realm. And you get teams from all over. I mean, obviously the major players in South Florida are going to be there. So your Miami Immortals, your South Florida Express, Florida Fire, Pro Impact from Jacksonville. That's your Trinity Christian guys. Your bootleggers from Louisiana, Mississippi area. And then teams from all over. Cam Newton All-Stars usually comes down. There's a couple other ones. There's in the Midwest. I forget the Midwest teams. I think they've changed some of their names and some of the ones on the West Coast. But pretty much, if you're one of the uber elite 7-on-7 programs, you're going to find your happy ass in Miami for Battle Miami tournament this weekend. And so that's why the University of Miami decided to eschew official visits this weekend and then focus instead on the 23, 24, and 25 classes and inviting to this event just the cream of the crop. I know I will probably, cull together a list that's out there on some of these other websites. But I mean, you got, I think, 9 5-stars in the future classes already confirmed for this event, with just a slew of other people. So, I mean, if you're talking your guys locally, your Brandon Innes's and Jalen Browns and Hakeem Williamses and just guys from all over. I mean, all those guys are wide receivers, but there's more, trust me. The state of Florida currently has 5 of the top 7 running backs in the 2023 recruiting class. I believe of those 5, 3 to 4 of them are going to be in Miami this weekend, including Richard Young, who's currently, I believe, ranked as the number one. Peyton Kirkland, a 4-star offensive lineman from Orlando. I'm just picking names off the top of my head right now. But, I mean, it's more talent than you can shake a stick at. It is guys from everywhere. Also, I wanted to say, somebody asked me about the quarterbacks before. Remember, they were like, oh, do you prefer this dude or that dude as the 5-star quarterbacks in that next recruiting class? I forget the kid's name, but one of them, not Ayamaleva, he's from California. The other one in that question plays for Detroit Martin Luther King High School. The team that he plays for is going to be down, and he, as a 5-star, top 5 player in this next recruiting class, is going to be on campus for Elite Prospect Day. It is Paradise Camp, so the camp in the summer where they would come and work out, that has had more talent at it than any other elite recruiting event in the country since the inception of that event. If you look back, even with like Nike is the opening, that elite prospect thing that used to be in Oregon, they moved it to Texas because people couldn't get all the way to Oregon. So we're going to put it centrally located in the country and make that the hub. The first 2 Paradise Camps had more talent than the opening, which is ostensibly all Americans everywhere, right? With that being said, Elite Prospect Day will have more talent there than Paradise Camp had, or it's at least comparable. I mean, this is Mario Cristobal flexing his recruiting muscles and saying, hey, we're going to do something different. And to his credit, like I said before, it's not going to have a catchy name or you're going to have to infer anything. This is Elite Prospect Day. Mark, I'm inviting you to Elite Prospect Day. I don't got to figure it out. I don't have to need a code. Coach just told me he's inviting players to Elite Prospect Day, and I'm going. What you think that means, right? So, yeah, this is where the foundation is built for the future classes, because obviously Cristobal's coming in pretty much mid-cycle for the 23s, because you're at the end of the cycle for 22. For elite players, it really takes 2 years and some change, right, to really build that connection. So coming in the spring of their junior year, so basically like almost a full year, you're coming in midstream, mid-cycle. So we got to get that popping. But you're coming at the beginning of the cycle for 24, 25, and on. And just saying, hey, this is who we are. This is how it's going to be. We're going to be different here in Miami, even than we've been. So doing that and having all those guys, and again, sure, Harold Perkins. No, he's not coming this weekend, but he's supposed to be coming with Shamar Stewart the next weekend. But all the guys of that same caliber in the future classes, you're going to be able to look around and say, if I'm that guy, not even at my own high school, not even in my own town, but in my state and in this country playing this game of football, if I'm that dude, right, at my position, and I look over and there's another guy who's as good, if not better, or as, near, and at my position, and the next position, and the supporting position. So if I'm that quarterback, I'm seeing multiple running backs, multiple receivers, tight ends, offensive linemen. And then if I'm on defense, look, we can run and get the ball. I play DN, you play DN, cool. So I'm going to be on one side, Mark, you on the other side. Who's going to be in the middle? Okay, we got Nick and we got Joe. So it's me, Mark, Nick, and Joe on that defensive line. And look, these other dudes who are standing around, y'all coming in when we get tired. And then the linebackers, y'all going to eat up the blocks. We're going to flow through. We're going to make the plays. Boom, boom, boom. And you got elite. Oh, now, and of course, swagger, all the defensive backs, y'all going to get the pressure. Or you're going to eat up the blocks so the linebacker get the pressure, get to that quarterback, pick 6, baby, coming my way. We strutting up the sideline, celebrating and high-fiving because I'm that cornerback. I'm that safety that covers 2/3 of the earth, right? Or, 1/3 of the earth, and the other 2/3 is covered by water. But that other third that's on land, I got all that. And everywhere you look, there are those caliber of players. And that's coming up this weekend on Saturday at the U, which is going to be incredible for one. So that's for the future. If you look for the present, as in 2 weeks' time, on February the 2nd, so I got some typing to do on these recruiting notebooks and other pieces, right? For National Signing Day, the last weekend visits are always, not always, because you don't want to go in absolutes, but more often than not, the most impactful ones, especially for guys who may be not all the way firm on a decision. And sometimes with guys who are very firm on a decision and they go on that list weekend visit and all of a sudden that decision gets firmly changed. Here's the list of guys supposed to be visiting next weekend. 5-star Shamar Stewart, top 10 player in America. R. Mason Thomas, from edge rusher from Cardinal Gibbons here in Fort Lauderdale. He's committed to Iowa State, but he's coming down. Josh Connerly, the 5-star offensive tackle. Anthony Munoz, All-American tackle or offensive lineman of the year. He's supposed to be coming down. Christian Miller from Georgia, a 4-star defensive tackle. Trayvonte Citizen, who we already talked about, running back from Louisiana. Amon Moten, younger brother of Anthony Moten, also from Cardinal Gibbons. Anthony Moten, who went to St. Thomas Aquinas and then played for the U. His younger brother, 6'3", 290 defensive tackle. And the aforementioned Harold Perkins, number 1 linebacker in America, the number 4 overall player in America. That's the list of official visits on the schedule for next weekend as of now. Okay. Now, if everybody makes that visit, great. There might be a secret visit or a late addition, also great. You also got to see if visits get canceled. Apparently, according to some chatter that was out there today, Harold Perkins wants to come to visit Miami, but some people in his circle, like his family people, they're not as high on Miami as he might be to learn about them. So he wants to take the visit, but mama, grandmama, cousin, uncle, whomever might block that. So we'll see if he actually shows up on campus. And I'm sure that Jimbo Fisher is trying to block that as well, because they would do that at Florida State. And Nick Saban totally does do that. You ain't taking no visit somewhere else. What you mean? Number 4 player in America, number 1 in the state, number 1 linebacker? No. Kill that. Hey, I need that booster to go over there. If you're working on the NIL deal, I need you to finish that NIL deal. And if you're not doing an NIL deal, call the dude who has a duffel bag and go drop a duffel bag off at the house, right? Because those are the things that happen with elite players. So both this weekend and next weekend, you have some really, really elite groups of talent that are coming to Miami, hopefully. And obviously how those visits go will tell the story of this recruiting class so far. And then when the recruiting class from high school is finished, then we'll probably circle back and look at maybe a couple other guys in the recruiting or the transfer portal as well. So yeah, recruiting never sleeps. And, Mario Cristobal has been like that. He's at the facility at 6 a.m., even during recruiting season. He went at 12:01 a couple weeks ago, or last week when the recruiting dead period opened, Wednesday night / Thursday morning, or Tuesday night / Wednesday morning. Right at 12:01, Cristobal didn't go because he's saving his personal in-home visit. But the staff, they sent 5 dudes to Shamar Stewart's house at 12:01 a.m. Because right at midnight, I'm not sleeping. Right at midnight, what am I doing? I'm sending coaches to go talk to you, because that's how important you are. You're more important than my sleep and my coach's sleep, because we got to talk to you. That's how important you are to this team. And that's the kind of mentality that you have to be the elite kind of recruiter that Mario Cristobal is. So both this weekend for the future classes and next weekend for this current class, the game is afoot. So be sure that, you obviously follow the visits. Be sure that, you check out as much. But getting people on campus really, really, really counts. And especially for the future kids, this does count as that out-of-state unofficial visit. I would like another one that's not on a super event day. I need them to just buy a $49 Southwest flight, fly down from Detroit, and then go to campus. But this does count to that. So if you get people on campus, especially out-of-staters, elite players, it needs to be an official visit and another unofficial, if not 2. This would be one of those for a lot of those guys that are coming down this weekend. And I'm really excited to see what that movement's going to be. And the story of these recruiting classes will not be written for a while, but this is going to be a big part of that story. Trust and believe.
Kim is posted by 247 Sports 5 minutes ago. Miami Hurricanes coach Mario Cristobal will now be looking for a new secondary coach. Secondary coach Travaris Robinson is expected to take the same position with Alabama.
Well, there you go. So that was what up, and I see it on the timeline as I click back over. Yep. I mean, hey, look. I'm sorry, hold on. Yeah, he is an elite coach. He's an elite developer. He's an elite recruiter. And like I talked about a couple minutes earlier, Nick Saban ain't no fool. And he sees if they're building this in Miami and you have a coach who's gone or, whatever, I'm not even going to build a staff. I'm going to build a staff by taking someone off of your staff, right? So it's the double whammy. It's like, when you flip somebody from Florida or Florida State, not only are they not going to Florida State, they're also coming here. So it hurts their class by not having them there, and it boosts us. So it's the double whammy. And that's what that is really in effect. Because he sees, okay, this is what Cristobal's building. I'm going to take one of those building blocks away. So not only am I taking it away, but then I'm using that elite coach here, right? So you're going to be looking for another coach, obviously. I would say Corey Raymond would have been the number one on my list, but obviously he just left LSU to go to Florida. And you're going to have to find somebody else to go with that and fill that slot. So obviously you're getting just a live reaction. And I mean, this was expected. Well, that the offer was going to come. I didn't know that we were going to get the news, obviously, that he is leaving or reportedly leaving, which is probably soon to be forthcoming and everything. So, hey, look, Cristobal's already been calling people. He's already been looking and seeing, testing the temperature on, do you want to, maybe come to Miami in this role? And I'm sure that he's not new to this. He's true to this. So he had to have seen this as being a possibility. So he's not starting from scratch on finding a defensive backs coach or another coach to come in. He's not starting from scratch now. It's just, okay, that list that I otherwise was hoping not to have to use now becomes fully active. And now let's press and say, okay, cool. Which one of these guys are we going to really make a move or try to make a move to bring in here? So, yeah, T-Rob, obviously, I've been wanting him in Miami for years and years and years. And having had him here for that 1 year, great. I wish it would have continued. But if he goes on to Alabama, again, for personal and professional reasons, I respect people's decisions. I wish him the best. And then we just need to find the best candidate that we can, coach to come in and continue the legacy of the Hurricanes, join this group. And also, again, whoever that is, I don't know that you're going to find a one-to-one recruiter replacement, but it has to not be a big gap of this is what T-Rob could recruit at the level, and this is the level that the next person does. It has to be someone who's, if not super elite, at least well above average as you continue to build out the staff. But, I have full faith and confidence in Coach Cristobal to be able to find that person. And again, he's not starting from scratch. I know that he already has a list to start making some calls.